That is a good one, Stephen. All right, welcome to episode 227 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me this week, once again, is Stephen.
Hello.
And Chase.
Hello.
So this is a normal episode, but also not a normal episode because we're pretty much focusing on one main story right now, and that is physical media and gaming, as Sony has made a large announcement affecting a lot of the market, causing a lot of speculation, good and bad, for everything going on. So we're going to spend about an hour talking about that. So real quick, we'll jump into what we've been doing just to get a little bit of that out of the way, and then we'll go straight into the story. So, Stephen, we'll start with you.
I've been playing ZZZ and mobile games.
Fair enough. Still playing your mobile games, huh? Do you earn anything lately?
No, I have 200 more levels in one of them, and I just downloaded 2 more, so those I have to do 750 levels in each of those.
Chase, don't get me wrong. That sounds like a lot of homework, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah, it sounds like a second job at that point for like no little to no pay.
no kidding. Chase, what about you? What you been up to?
So I finished Star Fox 2 or Star Fox on the Switch 2. Sorry.
I was like, very different games.
Yeah, but now I got the true ending. I think on the third run.
Nice.
I think there's only one place that I technically haven't been, and that's Sector Z. That's the only planet / area that I haven't actually gotten to. Otherwise, I've been everywhere else. So finished that one, and then I'm back on the saddle again with Fire Emblem Three Houses. So I'm looking to try to get through that one. So
You're just getting prepped and ready for that new Fire Emblem coming out.
yeah, pretty much.
I can respect that. For me, I've been traveling once again. Spent most of last week over in Texas this time. Monday, I fly out again to New York, where hopefully I can actually meet up with some people there. I'm kind of hoping I can meet up with Shellshock while I'm there to hand deliver a game that I'm giving him. An actual cartridge version of Final Fantasy III on the Super Nintendo.
Nice. Best one.
Yeah, I actually have an extra copy. Like, I have an in-the-box complete, and I know I could sell it, but it's one that he's been wanting. Something had happened previous. I think he lost his. He's always just been really nice to everybody, and I'm like, you know what, screw it. Like, I was going to send it to him, but now that I'm going up that way and I'll be able to be in New York for a bit, I'm like, how much more fun, especially given today's news, if I could just hand deliver him in front of the Nintendo store Final Fantasy III, you know?
This is how you trade games with your friends.
Oh God, we really should do that. That would be a lovely crossover video. But while I've been traveling, I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077 on my Switch 2 again because Junior, I love him to death, finally got me past the one area I was stuck in. I kept getting stuck in this one spot of a fight and could not get out of it. So we finally got through that, and I can roam around Night City and Dogtown and everything, and been playing that again. So that's been fun. I did play through and finish Star Fox 2. I wanted to make sure on my first run that I got the true ending. I was like, I played this enough back in the day, and it's supposed to be the same, so I should be able to pull it off. So with a couple of false starts playing it, the key was getting my hand-eye coordination back for like how the controls were. And once the muscle memory came back, I was ripping through Star Fox. And I went through the harder one. So the upper path is done. Getting to Andros and, the actual fighting of, him, not the robot. So now I got to go back and do the lower level stuff to get that. But it's been fun playing it. I'm really enjoying it. It sounds great. It looks great. It still controls perfectly. I've been having fun with the challenge modes, going back to some of those, and I like having to try and find ways to do those. One of the more annoying in the very first is like get to the boss and beat the level in under 3 minutes, and you're just like, to hell with everything, boost every moment I can, like pushing through to get to it. So that was kind of fun. All right, so are we doing the group chat today, I guess, or are we just going to talk about what media we picked up with?
I have some pickups, yeah.
Okay, well, let's do the group chat real quick.
Jinkies.
Hey, we haven't done that in a while. We keep forgetting to. All right, Steven, what's your pickups? I've got a few small ones for myself, but
the recent news, I had to give support where I could. So first, I was just like, what's the best version of this game I can get? So I have Shovel Knight on the PS Vita. Probably the best looking version, best running version there is. Fully supported, so we're good there. For PS3, I picked up DC Universe Online.
I still have that disc. I love the art.
So I have this so I could play it on my PS3 and download any DLC that'll be on the store. So that's pretty cool. For PS4, I got Overwatch because this is the only way to play it. Because you need the disc is right here. The disc reportedly works in your system. So I was like, cool, I'll take one of those. And then I was like, well, I need some games for my PS5. So I picked up Babylon's Fall. Heard that one was pretty good. As well as a copy of Concord. So I'm ready to play.
Chase, I feel like we're getting trolled here.
He's trolling somebody. That's for sure.
What? I got all these.
You know what?
It's
his money. Let him do what he wants. For me, I picked up actual games I can play. I ended up grabbing Wargroove for the PS4, which is a lot like a fantasy Advance Wars, which I've always loved Advance Wars, so I wanted to try this one out. I know it's on the Switch as well. And then, Steven, you informed me there is a Switch edition that has Wargroove 1 and 2 together. So I'm going to be on the hunt for that one, but it's an import, so I'll have to get it.
Sold out on VGP. I already looked.
Damn it!
Well, yeah,
the hunt begins.
And the newest version of them, they added co-op, so I was like, cool.
Oh, nice. I mean, honestly, the hunt for physical media for me is a lot of the fun. Also, it's just looking and finding these things. Earlier today, I picked up a copy of Death Jr. Root of Evil for the Wii. I'm curious how this one's going to play. I like the Death Jr. games. I've played them on DS and other systems back in the day, PSP, and really liked it. And then the larger one I picked up today was Stretch Panic for the PlayStation 2. This is one from Treasure. I've heard good things about it. I've heard it's goofy to play, but I went ahead and took a shot on it. It was $65, but it's complete. I've got the book, the disc, all the other stuff in there. But I find it funny it still has the GameStop used sticker for $6.99. Really wish I could have got it for that price. But that is the market, and that's how it goes.
Book in there? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, back when we had actual manuals to see is it color?
Relic right there.
And it's black and white, but it's still got something in there. Yeah. So there's words and pictures. And an advertisement for gadget racers on the back. Coming soon.
Oh boy.
I have to go back and look. I like the little back of the book advertisements we used to get. All right, so let's jump over to our news for today, which is basically going to be the Let's Talk About It section. So let's do that. At this point, I've just given up looking for a new sound effect. Half the joke is just using the same damn sound effect that's miscut. I just like it now. We've done it so long, we're fine with it. All right, so Sony has pulled off the hat trick of bad announcements this week, 3 in a row, that have made people very anxious and kind of concerned. And just to go over that, we had the announcement we talked about last week where they deleted 500 plus movies and TV shows from PlayStation users from studio canals that they had paid for, but they don't get a refund. They don't get anything in compensation. They're just gone, which already kind of shows you don't really own the digital movies that you buy. Then not 48 hours later, after we recorded the show, Sony decided, hey, we're going to announce that as of January 1st, 2028, we're no longer making physical media available for PlayStation 5 or any future systems, period. First party, third party, doesn't matter, no discs. So it's digital only from now on. And then not a day later, they also announced quietly, after they're trying to get people to be like, oh, no, the stores will be there, you'll be fine. They're closing the PlayStation 3 and Vita stores. So those are going away. So, yeah. I want to ask you guys, when you first heard the news, the announcement of this, what your reactions were or your thought with it. Steven?
Why?
That's Good
Because
response.
I know it was. I know the writing was on the wall, but you'd think they would, you know, sweeten the deal, soften the landing. They were just like, nope. As soon as this day comes, your ass is grass. So I was like, all right. Um, I'll be the bad guy here though. The second part of the news was just it's about time. Everybody else has already done it. So what's taking you so fucking long? Like, just close it already. Like, if they already said if you downloaded any of the titles off the stores, you can still download them again. You can still do that on the 3DS. You can still do that on the Wii U. But yeah, why were the stores like still open at this point?
I think it. I get that announcement. I think it's just the timing of all of it. It's just like,
Well,
hey
yeah,
guys, maybe
whoever works
read the
their social
room.
media just decided, like, if I let out all the news now, I don't have to explain myself later.
Yeah, they're already mad at us. Let's just get that done.
But it was just like a kick in the face, and then like a basically just like a mean look. So like one was really bad and it hurt, and the other one was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I expected that.
Chase, what about you? What was your initial reaction at hearing of physical media going away for PlayStation?
I wasn't surprised. I mean, like, we kind of knew it was coming. Like, even another video that I watched on it or whatever, they basically said like we were just hoping for one more generation, but like because they even knew it's coming, it was more just like people that are hanging on to the kind of the physical media thing is just like they were just hoping for one more generation, and then after that it was kind of like, because at this point they were on borrowed time. Like it wasn't gonna last, unfortunately. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess in a way, like, kudos for at least like being semi-transparent and telling us like, a year and a half in advance. But yeah,
I have some theories about why that might be, because I kind of think they would have just cut cords and done it now if they could have gotten away with it. Also, we're recording this on the 4th of July, so you might hear fireworks in the background because people around me love to do that. So my initial reaction when I heard about the news was just kind of frustration with all this. Like, yeah, I get, like, I'm looking at the numbers that they put out, like, oh, this many more digital titles are being played, going for the percentage, none of which actually takes into account that they count the free games they give on PlayStation Plus for PSN. It counts free to play games like Fortnite and was it like War Tanks or whatever, like all the
Warframe.
different Warframe. There's the World of Tanks, some other ones, like all those
War
free-to-play
Thunder
games count in there as well. So of course you're going to get people playing those. They're only digital and they're free. Also, all the indie games that are cheaper and digital only count towards the number. So they're not giving a monetary amount. They're going by what people are playing. And it kind of feels like they're trying to skew the number to make it look like, oh, this is inevitable. When I don't think that's the case with a lot of other media, where like, yeah, I get it. They should be options to balance each other out. But I don't feel they need to just push it in one way, which we'll talk about in a little bit why I really don't think that's the case. But it's more of just frustration. Like, I know I don't play my PS5 as much as everybody else seems to. My physical collection or collection at all is more limited, but I've got a pretty good amount, more than most people do for, the consoles when they get them. And it's just kind of a frustration of having that gone and what it means for the different markets. And like, as I grew up playing games, how that is going to be affected, how people past us are going to have to deal with it. And I don't know, it's a lot of lack of control over what you can do as well, which is kind of frustrating. Oh man. I did notice a lot of people after hearing the news, and I thought this was just kind of funny as an incidental thing. People are talking about Sony has announced, like, this is not a rumor or anything, unequivocally, they're ending physical media January 1st, 2028. So immediately, a lot of the people that are like the PlayStation accounts and so forth start going like, well, we're hearing rumors. Microsoft. I was like, Microsoft ain't announced shit. Like, Sony's actually said it. Like, deal with that. Quit trying to make up rumors. Now, I think they probably will. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, even analysts said the next two systems will probably be diskless.
Right. But like, be upset at the one that has actually said they've done it, not the one you've heard rumors might do it. If somebody shoots somebody, you deal with them, not, hey, I heard this guy might shoot somebody. The one that actually shot somebody, that's the one you deal with right now. And I thought that was really funny how that always ends up happening for news. It's like, no, look over here. Don't look at that problem. But yeah, some people have also taken to the fact of they think, because Sony has caught some shit for this. Like, there's a lot of people that are calling for, like, canceling their PlayStation Plus accounts, which we don't, we hear about stuff like that all the time. We don't know how many are going to actually do it or how it's going to affect it.
Yeah, there's a petition with over 60,000 signatures right now.
You sent me that. I filled it out. What good it will do, I have no idea. Sony doesn't give two shits, but I did it anyways because why not? And I don't know, just this whole situation. Like, well, people are acting like they're going to listen and backtrack on this, but Sony's not. They've been planning this for a little while because we found out later that they've already repurposed their factories. The workers found out the same time we did, which I'm sure that felt great. But apparently their management had been given a good couple $1 million of equipment and upgrades that they're going to start producing micro lenses for like camera and energy stuff and other things like that instead of discs, and just kind of pushing for that side of it and hoping to retrain people. They got about 300 people working in the factory. They said they're going to try and retrain all of them, but they can't guarantee there won't be layoffs of some sort. So we'll see how that goes. But I don't know, like, just how much do you feel like, I know we talk about the inevitability of digital, but I still feel there's a market for physical and reasons for that. I want to get your thoughts on how you kind of feel with that, with different situations of how we are. Chase, I know you've got that smirk. You've got a thought. Let's start with you.
Well, I think there's a market, but I just think it's a niche market. Like, I don't think the market's as big as we thought it was. Unfortunately, I think the problem is that there's a lot of people who, especially younger people, who don't mind buying digital games because of whatever reason. It could be, because it could be different circumstances, because I've seen people online all the time that, because somebody will say like, oh, if you buy digital, then they could take it away from you. And there was literally one person that replied to that saying, I don't really care. I usually play a game once or twice and then I never touch the thing again. So some people, it doesn't bother them. And also on top of that too, there is a physical cost to physical games, in the sense that some people don't have walls, like as the two that I see in front of me. Some people don't have that. Some people don't have that space.
You've got that great white wall behind you, buddy.
Yeah, but that's a wardrobe.
Which means you can hold things in it.
You close. But unfortunately there is a physical cost to physical, in the sense that some people don't have the space. So I kind of understand that in a way as well. Yeah, I think it's just, to use like an older term, is the youngins. The youngins are outvoting us, as some people have said. So I don't know. I think there's still going to be like some people that champion physical, in the sense that there's still going to be some companies that champion it. Maybe, we'll see. You never know what the future holds. Never say never. But yeah, I mean, I just
realized the mic's way up there. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Good microphone.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like 80% is hard to around 80%. That's hard to argue with, in a sense. They're going where the numbers are.
I mean, once again, though, that 80%, that's, you're talking about like, okay, people buy physical. They're not tracking like pre-owned sales of physical, or for instance, like I said, I'm giving that Super Nintendo game to a friend,
That's
and
also because they don't see that money. The company.
Yeah, they don't see that. They don't see that money, so why would they track it?
right, but it's just kind of skewing the numbers of that. Of like, people aren't using physical. Well, they are. It's just not the ones you're tracking, but you are tracking free to play and cheap indie and ones you're giving
Yeah,
away.
but that's
You're
fine.
selling.
It's on their
I mean,
store.
they're selling systems that don't come with disk drives, that some areas were difficult to get a hold of. You were trying to find a disk drive for a PS5 Pro, I think, weren't you?
Well, I
For a
didn't get
little
a
while.
PS5. I didn't end up getting a PS5 Pro, but actually now, I mean, you can like. There was a while there where you couldn't, but now you can. Like, they're pretty readily available. Because like I could just go on Mighty Ape right now and order one if I want, but I don't have a PS5 Pro, so there's no point in me actually ordering one yet.
I mean, it feels like
But
they're kind of skewing the numbers with that. Like, if you're selling a system that's digital only, unless you buy an extra piece, and they did have some that came with it, but those were harder to get a hold of. And they're kind of stacking the statistics. It seems like in their
I don't
favor.
I don't necessarily think so, because if you wanted to get a PS5 with a disc drive, yeah, they might have been harder to get, but you eventually could get one. Like, I mean, I didn't like it when, I mean, but that's also just kind of, and I'm not saying this to sound shitty or like say that people's problems don't matter, but that is kind of just the name of the game. Like, I thought it was bullshit when, like, the freaking Fire Emblem collector's editions would sell out in like microseconds at 3 a.m. when I was asleep because I had a full-time job. But, but I couldn't, like, write a letter to Nintendo and be like, how dare you fucks? Like, I'm a huge yeah, like, I'm a big Fire Emblem fan. Why don't you, like, cater to me? So it's just, unfortunately, it is kind of the name of the game. There's some people get left out, and if it wasn't for Swan helping me out, I would never have got one. So it's
That's
just
kind of a different boat for that. That's a single title with a limited special edition that they announced, which I get. If there's not enough, or if they make too many, it's a balance back and forth. But actually having a part of the system itself, if you'd gotten a hold of that cartridge, but you had a version of a Switch 2 that for some reason didn't have a cartridge slot, and you had to buy that extra, and you're having to deal with that. And Nintendo's like, oh, well, we're selling more digital because you didn't get one with a cartridge slot. You have to buy the accessory, but we're not going to make as many of the accessory. That becomes an issue. And it just, looking at the numbers of it, it just feels, which every company does. They twist the numbers to look how they want it to be.
And the problem too is the problem too is if you start going into the realm of like, well, you can't count free to play. It's like, well, why not? They're legitimate games. People play them. People enjoy them. I know a ton of people that
one kid who doesn't have much money, and you're like, okay, well, we're going to try and get you to buy games, or we've got this handful of free to play ones that you can just download for free. You're going to have one kid downloading a number of free to play games versus somebody buying one game and playing that. That skews your numbers. So it kind of playing with the statistics of it.
It's still a legitimate business model, though. Like, I know a ton of people that play Warframe and they absolutely love that game.
Right, but it still skews the numbers of trying to say, well, people aren't supporting physical. We're getting mostly digital, while adding in all these free ones that they're giving out or ones that you can get. That's, I'm trying to think of a better way to do this.
I know what you're trying to say, but I just don't think you can discount them. Like, I don't think you could just say, oh no, we're going to take those numbers away to like better support our cause, so to speak, because free to play.
It's just being realistic. If you're
free to play is legitimate, though. I'm not
saying it's not, but it's
free to play is measured by concurrent users. If it doesn't have concurrent users, or they sharply drop, then suddenly the game goes away, digital or otherwise.
Right, but they still count those installs as getting the digital title and playing it. That's what I'm saying. It kind of is a weird mismatch for that.
That's not what they use anymore, though. They just use like, we've had the highest amount of users. It's morphed into that now. There's so many free to play games that unless you tell us how many players are playing it, we're not interested.
Right,
because we're not going to be able to find a game to play. So why would we get into something that's free to play if there's nobody on there?
No kidding. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, something just as I look through their numbers and what they were trying to push forward, it was like it feels like with the statistics feels kind of skewed, which that happens in a lot of stuff where they're trying to, because if you look at a statistic and you say it a certain way, it can sound or kind of lead towards a particular decision. I think that's more what I'm pointing to. It feels very much like, which I get, corporate does corporate, leaning in that direction to try and justify it. So people will be like, we're not happy about it. Oh, well, there's a reason. You're just not buying enough. Well, you're weighing it against what you're giving away for free. What do you expect? Are people going to go into this restaurant and pay for food when you're right across the street giving away free food? They're like, oh, well, we need to shut this restaurant down. They're not selling enough. Well, you're giving away free food across the street. What do you expect? And it just kind of, it weighs that weirdly. Because it's a little different. Like if you look at Steam for the free games they have, which I know those games are digital, and we'll get into that. It's a whole different reason why they get away with it.
Yeah, Steam took a while to get in people's good graces.
They did. And I guess we could kind of jump into that, because the other concern I had with Sony going all digital, and I think we've all seen Sony go full Sony before. We had the PS3 era and other times where they get kind of cocky and make weird decisions, and this kind of feels like it. They'll have complete control of their market, top to bottom, which is going to cut out any of the secondhand sales, which I know people are like, oh, well, they don't see money, they shouldn't have that. But you have discounts on games and save money on games because of that. Without it, you are not going to see sales. You're not going to see discounts. You're not going to see bundles. You're going to just see the game full cost for the life of the system for as long as they allow it. Because they have an incentive to actually, my leg's cramping up. They have an incentive to actually discount the games digitally on occasion, because they are competing with you, that you being able to go into a store and buy a new game that Walmart, may have discount for some reason, is their incentive to get you to come into their store. And
they're also competing against Steam though, too, a little bit.
To a point, but like for actual PlayStation titles, like say Wolverine, that's going to be just on PlayStation, which they've said they're not taking their games to PC anymore. So Steam is not a concern for them. They don't give two shits what Steam does.
Not for the exclusives.
Right, which is what they're trying to focus on. Their multiplayer stuff, they're not going to care. It's going to go wherever the stuff they decide to go to. They want more people to get it. If it sells a bunch on Steam, that just benefits them for the people. But God of War and any more Uncharted and things like that are only going to be on PlayStation hardware. So you're going to have to buy it from them. There's no physical version that's going to be available. So if a store decides to have store credit you can use, or they have a discount sale or something going on, you can't do that. They're going to try, they said, to have like a code in the box type of scenario for some of the games in stores. But I don't know how that's going to work sales-wise as well. So I'm kind of curious how that's going to be. I don't know. I'm kind of worried that Sony, without any kind of oversight for this, is going to get bad. Because they've already talked about raising PlayStation Plus. The cost of that's going up. Again. They've already just raised the cost of the hardware again, which all of them are having to do because of everything. And the difference is, like, say they raise the cost of these systems for a while. Right now, if you say, okay, it's too much, I don't want to pay this or do this anymore, you can take your games, you could go sell them to somebody or trade them in or give them away or do whatever you want with them and move to a different system or buy a gaming PC. With digital, you're just shit out of luck.
I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah, you heard about that one? The guy that sold his whole massive giant collection, got a handful of games, and then found out
$1,000 of physical media to GameStop to get a PS5, and everybody's just like,
bad choice.
Yeah,
bad time.
Stings.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think, I want to ask each of you, and Chase, I'll start with you because Steven, I know you're going to have an answer for this one probably, but like, what do you feel are the benefits of having physical, like the actual tangible benefits of having physical over digital?
Oh, I mean, I guess starting with me. Okay.
Well, like I said, none of this is trying to be confrontational. I'm honestly just curious of your thoughts on it and stuff, because that's why I wanted us to talk about this.
Well, the benefit. I mean, the obvious benefit to physical, like
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, physical was you own the product, right? Like,
Right.
I mean, you bought a PS2 game; it was on the disc. The only way that the only way that the only way Sony could take that game away from you is if they like sent some ninjas into your house to like steal it or something. Like it was, otherwise, like you bought it, it's yours. Same thing with
Right.
DVDs and all that stuff back in the day. I mean, to be fair though, but as time's gone on, like what's the difference really? Not actually as much nowadays because
Mm-hmm.
like sure, like you got like I mean, like Star Fox, like that's great because it's all on cart, so like I own it forever. But like, and I think even Jeremy would agree with this because you bought it digitally because you're like, there's no point in buying this. So actually, is there really much of a difference nowadays? Not as much with install discs. And then people thought Nintendo was shit for doing game key cards. It's like, well, shit, the other two have been doing it for years. So
Nintendo is the only one that actually labeled it and made it clear.
yeah, but because I don't even actually know. Like, if I don't even know if like Forza Horizon 6, if they shut this down at some point, like, could I even get it back? Like, could I download it?
Some of the things you'll know when you put in the disc, because at least on the Xbox, it tells you what's installing from the disc and then what's installing from the network. So you
Yeah.
can kind of see the discrepancy of data. While Sony just says, like, give us 5 hours and we'll install your game.
Yeah. Then it always tells you it's ready to play when it's actually never ready to play.
Yeah,
Both of them do that.
Like, now you can install with a splash screen. Like,
Yeah, ready to play was the biggest bullshit that never worked. It's like, oh, it's
Yeah,
ready to play. Oh, I'm stuck in a menu.
I don't know why either one of them did that. That was so stupid. I think they, like, as if they thought that their consoles were going to be fast enough to be able to like download the game while you're playing it.
Yeah, not running those slow ass hard drives. You guys got ahead of yourself. All right, Steven, same question for you. Like your thoughts on the benefits of physical, because you had that look. You had comments.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to the question. I want to give at least some information I found of what happened with this whole stuff, and that is Sony was justified in what they were doing because their stock rose 3.2 in Japan after they confirmed that they were just going to release digital only 2028, and then the U.S. listed shares went up 2.9 to show that they were doing the right thing. Um, but what hurts is this is a fewer options for consumers. There's more control for the publishers. There's uh, a huge part of gaming culture because um, we still get books, we still get movies physical, and this is the first time that like one company is just like, we're never going to do a physical disc ever again. I haven't heard yet of any movie studio or any distributor like that, or um, any kind of book publishers and stuff saying like, we're going strictly all Kindle or all streaming or something like that. In fact, the opposite happens. Stuff that streams is so popular, it comes to physical. WandaVision, K-pop Demon Hunters.
I had the Mandalorian
Loki,
couple of seasons.
Yeah, Disney fired everybody, so whatever you can get now, because all that stuff that's been on streaming is on DVD.
Which is ironic because Sony makes their physical media.
And even in those aspects, people can get the episodes and put them on disc. It's entirely possible to although bootleg, still get movies on physical media.
I sail in the high seas.
So, and it was just weird timing because as of May, at the end of May, Nintendo had the highest percentage of physical software for the first time since 2009. So they had a bump of 26%. And year after year before that, it was very low single digits. And I don't know if the announcement just spurred that and people to just go get what they know is on a cartridge, but then like Switch 2 software went crazy. Um, but the biggest problem I have is the fact that overall, when you're looking at the physical versus digital, is there's some issues here. You have it where how much do you trust your kids with your financials? Because Sony and Xbox never built an infrastructure that's safe enough for kids to just save up and buy something digitally. It's always been kind of complicated, and it's usually because of Roblox and Fortnite bucks. Um, but then you have what happened to Steam. Steam's like, hey, when the cards run out, we're never printing physical cards for you to buy in stores anymore because there's too much fraud. So are we going to get a repeat with PlayStation cards and Xbox cards where they start being used for fraud, and suddenly they'll be like, we're not having cards in stores anymore. So I know a lot of people are just thinking about themselves, but I'm just like, well, what do you get if you're getting a kid a PlayStation 6 or a Project Helix for Christmas? What do you get him? Do you just get him the system and say, figure it out? Because you can't buy games for him. And I was just like, well, yeah, that's a big problem. And it's just surprising that, um, again, like it seems like one person thought of going digital more than the other and decided to build, albeit primitive, albeit with restrictions, but still built a digital infrastructure that was kind of a olive branch back. And what I mean by that is, of all people who have some of the worst online infrastructure out there for years, Nintendo has is still the only of the three systems with family plans where you can put more than one person wherever they live, Netflix, on your plan and share the benefits. And one of the biggest biggest benefits they gave for at least people who are near each other and stuff like that. Some people said you could do it online. I haven't tested it yet. Is the virtual game card trading? And I was just like, well, the other two don't have virtual game card trading. Steam has an option where you can allow people into your library and play their games no matter where they live. My wife does that with her friends because she doesn't own Minecraft, but she's playing it. But I was just like, okay. Beyond the financial questions is how are you handling this now? Like, you have one company that one is still doing physical, but beyond that, they have the ability to at least share and trade digital games for a moment, but they can do it. So it at least gives the buyer at least some sense of ownership with the title. But then you have like Sony and them, and we're like, well, how do we know you're not going to do dynamic pricing? How do we know you're not going to raise the price? And one of the examples you can see is look at Astrobot on different stores.
Yeah.
Steam at least has GOG, Itch.io, Green Man Gaming.
It has competition.
I can go on and on about all these places that have digital prices that can fluctuate. Sony just has Sony. Nobody else sells console games digitally to the fact that they can control the price like that. Everybody else who sells it, it looks and pretty much either is a card that they're giving you the code off the back, or they have an exclusive contract straight from Sony. It's not something that they can alter the price of. Whenever I saw Nintendo do sales of their digital titles, it was on their shop first, but you could also go to Best Buy, Target, Amazon, and get the digital titles for that price. I don't ever see that with the other two companies that, oh, Xbox is having a digital sale, go on Amazon and get or Best Buy and get the cheaper Sony and Xbox games for less. And that's the biggest problem I have, because for me, the biggest options I have is I just, whether or not like, oh, they can shut off this game or people's game key card thing, like, but when the server shut off, you have a useless cart. When do you think that's going to happen when you can still download the 3DS and Wii U games that you bought? When do you think they'll ever do that? Do you think it'll even be in your lifetime? It's a guess out of nowhere where you're just like, well, what if they shut down the servers? Let me know when you can no longer download your 3DS stuff that you've previously purchased. Just let me know, and then I'll be like, maybe you have something here. But right now, this is all just theoretical. So, whether they shut something down or not with physical, I like it better because one, I have it. Two, yeah, it sucks when there's an update. Especially if you own Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, where the whole game was not on there and they had to put the rest of the game on there later. That was the most egregious thing. But even with game key cards, as bad as they sounded for people, you could still sell them, trade them in. You could still basically transfer ownership, which Xbox is looking into with their physical to digital, allegedly.
Yeah.
And I understand if people don't have the room. And again, say to you, Chase, there's also people who know that they don't have the room, so they get rid of these, but they keep these. So they have a nice binder that definitely fits somewhere, and they definitely have room for that they can just flip through. That's why they make those things. They make them for the music because people don't want to keep all those little jewel cases. People do it for their movies. The only thing they can't do it for is their books. Their books are just gonna take up space no matter what. But
I'm well aware of that from my wife.
People, and I'm like, wait, you have a lot of movies? And they're like, yeah, it's right here. It's in this big booklet. And I'm like, oh, because I didn't see any boxes. And they're like, well, I don't like the boxes. They're bulky and I don't have the room. Got it. So
people do what's best for them.
Yeah, I feel that that's also an excuse, because if I can go to a store and I can buy DVDs for like $1 a piece, and it's much cheaper than even the SD version on streaming.
I just picked these up today. They're $1 each.
Because even though DVD is like the old format, still it's cheaper than buying the digital version, the standard edition of those movies, is getting them for $1.
And there's a lot of movies that are on that format that are not available anywhere. They're not on streaming or anything else. It is that and nothing else.
So the biggest problem for me is everything physical had an answer to it, and everything digital has all these whataboutisms. And I'm not saying they're theoretical. It's stuff that, why does Nintendo of all people have this set up, and why don't you guys have this set up? Because if you're going to go all digital, it should be the most effortless and it should be the most consumer friendly possible.
Mm-hmm.
As simple as that. Like, if you're going to go all digital, make it easy, make it seamless. And right now it's still not that way. Like, digital stores can go down and die. It's one thing to be put in a queue when you're trying to install a game or get onto a server, but it's another thing when you can't get into the store because the store's down for maintenance or something, and now you can't play any games like that you wanted to buy.
Yeah. So my answer to this is, I'm actually going to start with what you just said, Chase. And I swear to God, we're not piling on you on this. It's just
pile on Chase.
Well, no, I wanted this to be a discussion, but the statement you made, people will do what's best for them. I think that is what the balance that people are not realizing of why we need physical and digital. Because yes, not everybody has the room. I get that. I am lucky as hell to have my house and my wife being cool with me having this large collection and having, other people in my house access it, like a library and friends and things like that. And I get it. Not everybody has that. Some people still like to have the physical because they don't have the room. Specifically, they'll buy a couple of these games, they'll play through them, but then they can trade them to someone or sell them to pay for the next game, which just takes up the same amount of space they just had. and they have a new game. Digital, they've paid that money, they finished the game. Yeah, it doesn't take up space around, but they're going to either have to have hard drive space, which is not cheap right now, or they're going to have to keep deleting it and downloading it. That's if they have internet that it lets them do that often, because not everybody has, unlimited internet. They may have data caps or limited speed, or live out in a place where internet is very remote, which is still large chunks of the entire world that don't have, unlimited open access. And I think that's supposed to be the point of that balance of choice. Because I have Forza Horizon 6. I didn't buy the disc because I knew it was an installed disc, but they also made it worth it to me to buy it, because I got the benefit of I can play it on my PC or my Xbox Series X or my Series S. So I weighed that decision and went, okay, I'm getting this benefit to get the game because I get access on these points and on here. So to me, that was worth me getting it digitally versus getting an install disc that would have limited me to one piece of hardware. And I'm all about getting physical games when I can. But realistically, people make decisions based on what works best for them. And in my case, that was the case, because I wanted to play it portably on my Legion Go and my laptop. I play it on my desktop here. I play it on my Xbox. I play it in my room on my Series S. So that one worked. That was one that made me choose to go digital over physical. I would have gotten it physical like I did every single previous Forza, which you can't go back and play right now. Like, you can't get them anymore because of music licenses. So I own and can enjoy them all up until they had to get rid of them because of the music licenses, and the games weren't on the disc. And that's when I stopped buying the physical, because what was the point? Which I think also kind of skews it, like, oh, they're not buying as much physical. Well, yeah, as someone worded it today, and shitified it. You've made it worse. So why would I bother getting that when you're like, yeah, you're getting so much less if you get this version and you don't even get the full game. Same thing happened with Indiana Jones. I did not get Indiana Jones on Xbox when it came out because it was just a little bit of code on a disc and that was it. On PS5 or on Xbox. And I was like, I really don't want to do that. The only reason I got it, and we've talked about this before, is because I had to buy a laptop and they gave it to me for free. So I was like, okay, I have Indiana Jones now. It's digital. But as soon as they released it on Switch 2, all on cart, I went and bought the whole thing. I immediately went and got it because now I have that cartridge. I can share it with my family easily. The boys have played it. I can play it. I've loaned it to friends so they can mess around with it. And I think that control is the biggest part of what I like about having that. Because like there's 6 people living in my house right now. My family of 5, and we have one of the other kids that's kind of staying with us for the moment. And all of them access the library I have in here. They can come pick up a game, take it off the wall, go play it on their system. We don't have to buy it over and over again. If we have 2 PS5s in the house, mine and Junior's, if I have a game that's digital, he can't play it. Not without us having to go through that whole back and forth weird logging in on each other's systems and doing all that stuff, which feels like a very annoying loophole that can be shut at any time, versus what Steven talked about with the Switch 2, being able to have the digital cards and share them. And I've taken advantage of that. I travel a lot for work, so I'll be like, hey, let me borrow Resident Evil, one of the old Resident Evils they had digitally, just so I can mess around with it, see how the Switch version plays. And I just grabbed it from him and went off. Same thing with the key cards. I'm still not the biggest fan of those, but I didn't bother buying the 2 Final Fantasy games on Switch 2. Junior has both of them on key cards. I'm just going to borrow them from him. Yeah, I have to download them, but I'm not having to buy them again. I could just put them in there, play them. If I like it, great. I'll go find a copy. If I don't, I can just delete it, not worry about it anymore, but I can at least play it for that time. Digital is a convenience without the benefit. And Sony's never going to have an incentive to give you the benefits. And I think part of why Nintendo is doing that is a lot of their stuff from the beginning has been aimed around families and people playing together. So they expect people to be more communal with that. And like with the family plan, you should play with your siblings or your parents or whatever other person, is in your family, and be able to switch those games out between them. And they understand the benefit of, oh, I have this, I bought Mario Kart. My kid wants to play it. Most parents would just give them the cartridge. They need to have that same level of access, or they're never going to buy digital because it makes no sense for them. Families can't afford to buy multiple copies of games every time. So that was their workaround. So I kind of wonder how that's going to kind of work
Yeah, because
for them. Go ahead.
Overall, like, I know the caveat of what I said is you need to pair the systems for the first time locally. So
Yeah.
until Chase visits, I can't lend him any games. He can't lend me any games. But once we've paired, since we're in the family group, um, we can do it, and you get 14 days to play the game. It downloads and you play it. And,
Yeah, you have to be in person every time, which kind of sucks.
And at the very least, I would think that somebody as advanced as Sony or Xbox is that if you're going to make this humongous change, that you give something back to the players, um, and you come up with a system similar to it, where you can either gift a game to somebody or do the same trade, but they have to be in a family plan. Especially if they're going to raise the prices of PlayStation Plus, and Game Pass will be altered, and the rumor that Game Pass is no longer accepting any more third-party contracts, so there'll be no more third-party Game Pass games, stuff like that. We're getting all this news bringing the value down, and nothing trying to make up for it. And you'd think with all these like changes in technology, and even something as horrible as AI, like they would have something to be like, well, we've been working on this though. We've been working on a group plan. We've been working on a way to lend out games, and they become a demo on your system. Anything, just anything. But instead, they're just closing a door. And that's what bothered me the most is, yeah, there's people with the writings on the wall. I've been digital only for years. Um, yeah, that's great, but having more options, having the competition, having not a monopoly over it, was helpful at least. Because like I said, Steam has competitors.
Yeah, I think France is the first
PlayStation,
country that's opening up a monopoly case against Sony over this because of it.
and then PlayStation has nobody to go against them, and Xbox has nobody to go against them. So that's what people are really worried about. It's going to be drilled into our heads. End of an era. End of an era. Yeah, it's fine. But that's not the concern. The concern is the fact that there's just this hard stop on everything, and there's too many unanswered questions. And then recently, um, as I don't know if we covered this, but recently they clarified, like, oh, wait, anybody who has signed a contract with us before January 2028 can reprint the games on disc. We'll still have an option to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what factory is going to still make those, but I don't know. But that was their answer to that, saying, "Oh, no, don't worry, we can still reprint. We can still reprint games that were done that way." I've seen all the, and because like nobody knows and is in the dark about what exactly happens after that date, because they mentioned it was first and third party.
Yeah.
Is, do we get the same situation that Limited Run got into with the PSP UMDs, saying they would have loved, or with the guy who made Shakedown Hawaii, they would have loved to make a PSP version, but unfortunately, Sony ceased UMD production, so there's no more UMDs being produced, and that was very proprietary.
Mm-hmm.
Now these are Blu-ray, so while I have seen the statement from Limited Run, Strictly Limited, Red Art Games, all these ones that make physical versions, and they said we will make PlayStation physical games as long as they'll allow us to.
Mm-hmm.
It shows me that they don't have an answer 2, what happens? Is there still a way to make more PlayStation Blu-rays? Or is it just Sony saying that ones that do not pay for them like these companies do, they will be digital only? Because the thing about limited run is depending on the titles, they always had to round up. If you look into it, there would always be extras because Sony would say you have to
minimum orders, basically.
I think the last thing I read about is you have to order them by like the thousands. So if you only get 200 pre-orders for a limited run game, they still have to order 1,000 of them, 1,000 discs to be made, 1,000 copies to be sold. So Sony still wanted it to be worth it for them. So I'm wondering how is that going to change, or is that going to get worse, or are they going to have more pull saying like, well, we don't make digital physical games anymore, so we've upped the price since it'll cost us more or something like that.
Right. The minimum going to be 5,000 now.
I just don't like the number of unknown questions. Usually when a company tries to make such a ginormous decision, there's usually an FAQ involved. There's something, when Nintendo
there's an FU involved.
When Nintendo talked about virtual game cards, they still have the FAQ page of how it works. But this just reminds me of like the backwards compatibility debate, where Xbox was instant, PlayStation's was complicated as hell, and Nintendo either got an upgrade pack or got an update. So it's been a mess.
Yeah. All right. So the decision with Sony going digital only and Xbox potentially doing the same thing, Nintendo still, for the foreseeable future, still producing physical media. How does this affect your decision for the next generation, like Project Helix, PlayStation 6, things like that? Are you still interested in getting it? Is this a no-go for you? Which I'm just going to say, for me, it's kind of a no-go. If there's not a physical media to it, I think I'm out. I will stick with the ones I have. I've got a library I can play till the day I die and try and catch up on my backlog. But physical media, just like with comic books, music, things like that, like I've in the background, that's a good chunk of my record collection. Like I still get physical media for different reasons, for the community of it as well, and just that part of it. But what are your thoughts on that? Chase, we'll start with you.
You're starting with me, man.
Well, I'm mixing it up a little bit.
You have all the answers ready, like you said.
Apparently.
Well, Stephen just had a whole soliloquy there, so I'm giving you a chance to talk.
True. Give him a chance to breathe. I don't know that I'll stop, but like it's a tough one.
I'm not saying stop gaming. I just meant like I won't get a PS6 or.
I'll probably get a PS6 or Project Helix. The problem is that I probably won't need both. So I'll actually probably just weigh up which one that I want more, depending on, but obviously that's tough to say now without any like information really. So, I mean, that's something that when there's more information, I can make more of an informed decision. There's a good chance that what I might actually do though is I might actually just go more the PC route, depending on how things go too. There's always that possibility. More and more people are going the PC route. That's something that I think consoles have always been contending with, is people ditching them to go to PC. But that's kind of been a bit hard now too lately with all the, limited hardware availability and stuff. But yeah, I mean, because like I do really like what Swan was saying. I really like actually how Steam does their family sharing. Shanoa and I do it, and Shanoa put me on her family sharing plan, and I instantly got access to like 300 games. Like it's pretty nice, and I think she put her brother on it, who lives up in Wellington, so he has access to a bunch of stuff as well. The limit to that is that you still have to double dip, especially like, for instance, like when we're playing Demio, like we both have to have a copy. Right. We can't both just play the same copy. But in a way, I think that's semi-fair. Because that wouldn't really be fair to Restoration Games if two people could play on the exact same license,
Right.
so to speak. And plus also though, like, to be fair, I'm happy to give Restoration Games my money. Like, Demio's been so much fun anyway, so like,
It has been. I look forward to it.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll probably make an informed decision at the time. I don't think I'm gonna stop like playing games. I don't think I'm gonna stop like. I'll probably still like get the next generation at some point. But it just might be that I don't know. Maybe it's just that Chanel and I just share an account and then we just get one console between us type thing too. Like, I just got her a Switch 2 the other day, so we both have a Switch 2 now. So
Next
I actually
Wednesday,
have
you got a chance to play Star Fox. Now you got it back.
yeah. I need to I actually need to learn. Well, yeah, that's actually I need to learn how to do the virtual game share thing because I got her the Pocopia bundle.
Nice. Exclusive
So
to New Zealand.
yeah, so she's got the Pocopia bundle. I have the Mario Kart World bundle, so we could share them if we wanted.
There you go.
You got it for half the price of a PS5 Pro.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as more information comes out, I can make more of an informed decision, as a lot of people can. So I think we'll just see what the future holds in that case. I don't think I don't want to pull the plug and say, "Oh, I'm out."
Right. I think to add to mine, PS6 being digital only, I have very little interest in that. So I will say I'm probably out on that. Helix, I have to see what they're going to do. I would rather there be an option for some kind of physical, especially as backwards compatible as they've been pushing. But I do think Steam, like with a PC and my Switch 2, are going to be the main systems I have. And I think I'd be fine with that. I would enjoy it. I have my portable. I have the games I like. I've always really enjoyed Nintendo stuff, anyways. And PC still has that open market because there is competition, which Sony and Microsoft potentially aren't having. Though if Helix does support Steam, that might be an interesting thing because then they're also competing with other stores and they could actually have better pricing and be more willing to actually do stuff. So who knows? Sony, I think, is becoming such a walled fortress, not even a garden, just a fortress, that we're just kind of stuck in the gulag at the bottom. Stephen, what about you? What's your response for this for next generation hardware?
Overall, it's gonna just come down to is there a good deal? Because the FOMO with no physical isn't really there because other than the system itself, games won't run out.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a system since the Dreamcast that has had like a bombastic like launch lineup, and a lot of the launches of the PS5, Series X, and even the Switch 2 have been dependent on backwards compatibility. And and if backwards compatibility only comes down to digital, then it's going to be limited depending on what people's previous collections looked like. And I think that's why Xbox is rumored to be trying some kind of program to basically rip everything, including the license, off the disc and make it a coaster. Um, but who am I kidding? I have a PlayStation Portal. You want to talk about something that that's all digital? There you go. But it went down to a price where I was like, all right, for what I want to use it for, sure. Will I get the PS6 and the Project Helix? I will, but I don't feel I have to go crazy for it in the beginning because, uh, like Chase said, I have to be more informed. Like, what's the value proposition now? We already know that both those systems are most likely going to be four figures.
Yeah.
So,
Good
because
Lord.
especially how memory's going right now, because they're no longer losing money, they're not going to get rid of their cash cows. They're going to keep doing what they're doing until the bubble bursts. And if the bubble doesn't burst, it's just going to keep going. So this is the fate and world that we've led ourselves to now. So that's just going to come down to it. And the problem with digital is eventually, you need room for something else. And at least with a physical, I can uninstall it and just put it on the wall. And for people who live, I feel sorry for the people who live in places, because we are what, the 9th or 19th. We're really down there in terms of our internet speeds and our, being connected. We're pretty horrible in terms of speeds, and there's a lot of countries that are much better than we are.
Well, I mean, part of where I was just at over in Nevada, in those areas, the people that live out there have almost no internet access just because they're remote to stuff. Like, they play games, but they can't just download stuff willy-nilly.
So I feel there's going to be sections that have to adopt something else, because there's going to be places that just don't have internet,
well, Don Matrix said they can get the Xbox 360.
Or just don't have the capabilities of playing it, and that sucks, because that's been a worry for years. But I guess it's been only a blip on the radar, so they don't really care overall. So again, I'll probably still get the systems. I don't know how much better they can get, as a lot of people are starting to say, like, we're kind of reaching, other than it being performing well, in terms of graphic fidelity,
it's diminishing returns.
An apex here. I don't know how much better you're going to get
for sure, Chase.
So
I think that's part of why I'm fine with the Switch too, because it looks good. Like, I'm playing Resident Evil and Pragmata and all these other games, and I'm like, yeah, this is fine. I don't need it to be like some super high end craziness, and it's pretty damn close for what it is, and I can carry it around. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting twist on the future of gaming to kind of see where it goes. I want to see how this is going to affect like the secondhand market, which Sony, they don't see money from that. They probably don't care, but it is a big benefit for getting people in on systems that, they may not have been able to afford, because not everybody can afford these, like you said, over $1,000 consoles when they're coming out, which Sony's already said they're not going to be taking losses on their hardware. So that's only going to be that much more expensive. I mean, hell, the Steam machine took a $700 jump just because of that announcement. It's going to get more expensive from there. How expensive is this damn PS6 going to be? Or to keep the cost down, what are you going to have to find later, or what are they going to cut back on? Because there's going to have to be a balance there somewhere. But that cuts off the poorer markets of people that get game systems late, to get cheaper pre-owned games, to be able to enjoy it, to trade with people. It's also going to make it more difficult unless they do sales, which once again, they're not incentivized to do. If a new game is coming out and you want to try the old game for it, you might have gone out and found it used or whatever to try it out and be like, oh, this is great. Now I'm going to try this new one and see how it is. You're going to have to just kind of jump in or pay full price for both, or whatever you're going to have to do to get into that.
Yeah, I think it was, I can't remember what channel it was that I was watching it, but there's a video that talked about the top 15, top 20 games that were sold on Steam were all between $15 and $30.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that that's the sweet spot generally for people.
Yeah, $15. Like, we've done that ourselves. We've been goofing off after a show going like, hey, let's try this out. And it's cheap enough. There's been nights, and this fucking happened, I just bought the game for y'all. I was like, no, fuck it, let's just play it. And I just bought it, and we hated it.
We're at a spot right now where, again, I hate to hammer this home, my allegiance and all that, but the fact that Nintendo understood and said digital games for our first parties will be $10 cheaper than our physical games.
Yeah. Which I thought that was great.
I'm waiting to see how Xbox and Sony, when they go full digital, no discs whatsoever, justify the price still being $60 or $70. Because now there's no publishers, there's no manufacturing, it's all digital. Where's you're getting a lot more than just like $40 or $30 now. You're getting a bigger chunk.
And they're also, Sony's already said they're going like AI in every aspect of game design. So they're requiring it for their people now.
What's the deal proposition there? Like, how can you justify charging us $70 now for a digital title if there's no physical option? That's all.
Yeah. Because like GTA 6, that's expensive. People are going back and forth about that. But there will be no physical edition, so people can't wait and get a cheaper one once someone's finished with it and traded it in, or given it as a hand-me-down or whatever for each version.
Yeah, 'cause
Every person has to buy a
third
digital
party
one.
gets it. Indies get it because I see it all the time on PlayStation. I see it on Xbox, and I even see it on Switch 1 and 2. Is they'll have a launch discount, and I'll see it on Steam as well. They'll have launch discounts, and you don't usually see that. You don't see that with first party titles, and that's why Nintendo's like, our first party titles will be $10 cheaper, and across the board.
And because they're sold in stores, Walmart,
there might be a summer sale or something down the line that they've done where you can get even the upgrade packs for half off that I saw. Because you can get Breath of the Wild upgrade packs for $6.
Because even with that deal, with the digital being $10 cheaper, you got Walmart and some other stores that are like, hey, at launch, we'll match that on the physical copy. So you're still getting the discount because the physical copy is there and there's competition. That will not happen with Sony because there's no physical copy to do. They're not going to discount a code in a box.
So, like, my final thought here is it's all going to come down to the value proposition. First off, and then second off is anything changing other than getting rid of a format. That's all. We need to know more. Because
you're right. Steam earned trust with this, and it was. I remember when Half-Life 2 first launched and had that, and everyone's like, "Oh God, why do I have to install this damn thing?" Like, it was a whole mess where it was published and purchased. But they have worked towards trying to build up trust with that, and I think it also helps they can do it because on PC it is open. I don't have to get stuff on Steam. Like I said, I bought Forza Horizon 6 on Xbox because it let me have the digital version, which I play through Xbox on my PC. Steam's not locking me out of it or blocking something. That was my choice, and I could do it. And I'm jumping between them. I've got games from GOG, which I buy them, I download them, and I have them for life. I could put them on a cartridge, burn it to a disc. Doesn't matter. There's no DRM on it whatsoever. And I've been burned by DRM. I remember when Spore came out and my computer was having a problem and I was trying to fix it while installing the stuff. And after 3 attempts at installing things while trying to reseat and fix something, it was like, oh, you've used up all of your things. You can't play this anymore. And I had bought the collector's edition of this game, and after 3 installs was done. And I had to contact them to try and get one more so I could install it.
Well, let's get ready for Sony DRM.
Right. So that is part of what burned me on playing PC for a long time. Spore came out a long time ago. And I'm just now getting back into actually playing PC games because I play with you guys. And it's become more comfortable and a better way to enjoy it with different options. It's becoming expensive as shit, but that's not the fault of what they tried to lay out. It's just, good God. And I try and keep in mind people that are in the situation I used to be in. Because digital was great as an option for people. You may not have a concurrent place to live at some point and have like a little handheld or something. Digital would be an option. You could play something. You don't have the space or whatever you're having to do. We've got kids going back and forth between houses and parents are divorced and they don't want to carry their whole collections with them. I get it. Digital's good for that. But on the flip side, I also was that kid that couldn't afford, like, we used to rent games. That was most of what I played for most of my childhood. I would get 1 game a year, 2 if I was lucky, and that was Mario 3. It's the only year that ever happened.
Games that would bankrupt Nintendo.
Yeah, I know. I borrowed games. I was given games from people. If somebody was done with it and they just wanted to toss the cartridge, I could get it from them. I'd buy used. I built up the collection I have over decades because of that. And I don't want to see that door shut on some other kid, potentially, that being the way they can enjoy gaming. I want everyone to be able to play games. I don't care if it's digital or it's physical. Just like you said, Chase, people do what is best for them. That's how it should be. But that doesn't mean completely shutting off a whole side of it because they want to make more money. I don't agree with that in any way. Because it's not a reasonable request. Music makers are making a shit ton of money off of vinyl and CDs still being sold today because, younger kids may have gotten into the habit of, here's an iPad, go play this digital game because their parents got lazy as shit and just gave it to them. But there's also some of the younger generations I've seen with other kids and my kids. They want physical media. They want something to hold on to because they can't get a house or, all this stuff because of the way the market is. So these little things are kind of what they have and what they hold on to.
You mean we can't give them an NFT of a teddy bear?
Yeah, we just killed NFTs. Don't fucking do this again, people. Like, come on. I don't want gaming as NFTs.
So, Sony, let me give you this. It's for free. I won't charge you for this. But Sony, if since you're probably going to do DRM, you should probably call it the Sony Online Digital Unified Marketplace. So dumb.
They could go along with Pisser.
We're going to pisser your so dumb right down into your TV. Oh my God, that has to be a clip. And also, physical isn't dead for stuff because right after this announcement, Oblivion Remastered was announced to be full on cart for Switch 2, which is shocking to me, and has already sold out in a lot of places for the physical edition. Could that be a response to the announcement? Could be. It also could be the fact this is, once again, the only physical copy that's complete on cart. And everyone's like, oh, I can actually have it and actually have that version. I would love to see Indiana Jones sales numbers also. Because I've heard really good things about it and it plays well. And I'm just curious how that is. All right. Do y'all have any last thoughts before we wrap this up? Chase, any last words you want to say about this? No? Steven?
Nah.
You good? I think you had your...
Sony.
Yes, fuck off, Sony. All right, so we'll go ahead and call it there. I'm just going to use the news segment just to cut it off, whatever. We didn't do the big question. I didn't want to do the news thing again. All right, this has been episode 227 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. If you were watching this over at YouTube, we greatly appreciate it. We would also appreciate a thumbs up, a subscribe if you can, share it with your friends, and leave us a comment below. What are your thoughts on Sony going digital only in about a year and a half? And how does that affect your future purchases if there are no more physical games as they have it? If you're watching this and you'd like to listen to the show, you can find us anywhere you get your podcast by just searching for the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast, where you can find us there. Leave us a review. Let us know over on our Discord about that review so we can mention it, talk about it to people. You can find all that at zenspath.com, ZENSPATH. That's where we've got articles I write, any photography stuff that I do. It's also got the video and audio links to the show, our link to the Discord, and other things there as well. All right. Well, once again, episode 227, and we're out. Peace.
So dumb.
Pisser. This has been a production of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast by the staff at zenspath.com. The show is created and edited by Jeremy Powers. You can find the video edition of the show on our YouTube channel at ZenspathCom. The audio edition is located wherever you find your podcasts. Links to all versions of the show, as well as to our Discord where you can talk with us directly, is located at www.zenspath.com. Please leave us a like, thumbs up, comment, and review where you can to help us grow.